Welcome to the Metal Bob Live Podcast. I am your host, Metal Bob. Today's show is brought to you by Legend Picks. That's LEGENDPICKS.com. Visit Legend Picks for all your custom guitar pick needs. And also, artist Jeremiah Kalleck. You can find him on Instagram at JJKALLECK. There you can find his art, videos, and more. Links to our sponsors are listed in the episode description. On today's show, me and producer Jeremiah had the honor of talking with legendary bassist Rudy Sarzo from Quiet Riot, Whitesnake, Dio, Ozzy, and more. We discussed the different projects throughout his career and also have a few laughs. So sit back, have a listen, and enjoy the show. Thank you. Hello, Rudy.
Hey, Metal Bob, how you doing?
Doing great, buddy. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to give us a little conversation.
Yeah. So, are you ready?
I'm ready, buddy.
Okay.
So, what do you got currently going on in the music world, bud?
Well, right now we're in lockdown.
Well, yeah, I know that. I mean, who you jamming with these days?
You mean while I'm at home?
No, you playing with the Guess Who? Is that the band that you're actually?
Well, yeah.
Currently
And just like everybody else, we're off the road right now, waiting for the lockdown to for the situation, basically, for things for the corona to be quelched,
Right.
either by multiple things, One of them is shelter in place, lockdown, staying away, social distancing, and the other one, hopefully, there'll be a cure, a vaccine, very soon. So,
Absolutely. So everybody doing good on your end?
it's all good. We're here. As a musician, do you play an instrument?
I do. I play a little bass. I'm no Rudy Sarzo, but I play the bass a little bit.
A little bass. How little is it? Have you thought about getting a regular size bass?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
Okay, that's the next move. Yeah. Anything else will be a ukulele.
Right,
Yeah.
you bet, buddy. You bet.
That's right. Yeah, which is fine. I mean, I've seen amazing players play ukulele, but there's nothing wrong with that.
No, absolutely not.
So, as a musician, you know that if you want to get to a certain level, even as a beginner, especially as a beginner, because as a beginner, you're discovering so many things, and then later on you discover that there's so many more things to discover. So it's a never-ending process of locking yourself down. Like even when I'm on the road, I spend a lot of time in my room playing and learning and developing myself, taking myself to the next level, Not necessarily playing things that I'm going to be playing live on stage that evening, but it's just something to for my own benefit as a musician to grow, So this reminds me of the old days when I was beginning, spending a lot of time at home, spending a lot of time playing and with my family and staying in, not going out, and It's pretty much business as usual for me when I'm home, because when I tour, I'm on the road, and when I'm home, I just want to be home. So I'm basically doing pretty much the same thing,
Absolutely. Well, I also got my producer in the room, Jeremiah. He would like to ask you a couple questions, if you don't mind.
Hello, Jeremiah. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Rudy.
All right.
Just want to say I'm a huge fan. You're one of the main reasons I started playing the bass myself, so I appreciate it.
Don't blame me. I don't know. See, one of the great things about playing with Ozzy, I can always quote him. Don't ask me, I don't know.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Let's see here. I actually have some questions that aren't about music. Are you still doing any 3D animation or anything like that?
Actually, the main reason why I started doing animation is because I was losing my vision.
All right.
And it became, I started wearing glasses, and for me to wear glasses and play it's not very comfortable, because most of everything that's happening above the 12th fret falls underneath the frame. If I look down, I'm not looking through the lenses anymore. I'm looking below the frame.
Yeah.
So that was not a solution. So eventually I got LASIK. And as soon as I got LASIK, I did not have to spend, my creative time in front of the laptop, which is what I was doing with animation. I was basically, I put my glasses on, I'd be in front of the laptop and be creative. So my focus shifted back to music.
Nice.
And I've been doing that ever since, just giving all my attention to being a musician.
All right. Next question's kind of based off that. Then also just because you knew the guy, what do you think about the Dio Hologram tour?
I'm very close to the family because I'm part of the family myself, and I know that everything that they do for Ronnie comes from a place of love. So if they want to take it in that direction, I'm all for it because I know they're doing their best to keep Ronnie's memory alive. And his music, most important. His memory, his music, and the foundations that he set up before he passed away, such as the cancer foundation, Stand Up and Shout, which whatever revenue that there's left from the touring, because it's very expensive to take a hologram on the road, goes right into the Stand Up and Shout Foundation.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I've seen a couple of videos of it. It looks like they did a pretty good job with it. And I thankfully got to see him on that last Heaven and Hell tour right before they finished, so I was happy with that.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
What else we got here?
I'd like to know a little bit about the saving the animal stuff. I know you like to post a lot of stuff about adopting dogs and different animals.
Yeah, things come through my feed in most social media regarding shelters that are in need of either, animals are in need of fostering or rescuing, and I just share it. I mean, it's a no-brainer for me, to do that, or for anybody, just create awareness of what's available in case somebody's looking to adopt or foster.
Nice. Is there any particular association that you are a member of, or is it just something that you do?
Well, yeah, I've done a few things that are really directly connected. Well, one of them is the Linda Blair organization. Linda Blair, best known for her role in The Exorcist. The actress. She's got a really great foundation center here in California. Another one is Emmylou Harris. She's got another, and I've been part of the charity events to benefit her organization, Bonaparte Rescue, and recently the Eastwood Ranch, Clint Eastwood's family has a shelter here in Southern California.
Good deal. What's the chance we'll ever hear anything from the Sun King project you had worked on?
No, there's been a couple of the members who have gone on to bigger things, and one of them is John Lowry, who is John 5, and Richard Danielson, who is the drummer in Vintage Trouble. So so out of respect for them, they will not be released.
Okay. All right. What's the chance of M.A.R.S ever getting back together?
Oh, I don't know. It's everybody's really busy doing their own thing. We were a band that tried to get a record deal. We never went on tour. We never even really actually rehearsed for a performance because we never got a major record deal. The strategy behind making the record, M.A.R.S project, was with Mike Varney as producer, and he financed it. And the strategy was that we were going to go for a major label, and so that's why half of the record it's commercial enough, and then the other half had to be heavy enough so that if all else fails, he would release that record on Shrapnel. And in order to be on Shrapnel, he had to have some sort of shredding going on.
Mm.
So that's why that record is half commercial, half shredding. And, of course, we did not get the major record deal, so it was released as an independent release on Shrapnel.
Well, either way, it's a killer album. I love that album.
Yeah, I mean, we had a lot of fun making it. Unfortunately, we never were able to take it beyond the studio. But I have great memories, and playing with Tony McAlpine and spending time with him, that was fantastic.
Yeah, he's a great dude.
He sure is an incredible musician, and really inspirational to play with him.
I'll tell you another rare gem now that we're talking about some of the music you recorded, a band called Manic Eden.
Oh, Manic Eden. Yeah, you know, we did do some unplugged shows in France. That was the only live performances we did, basically. And that was another interesting record. When we first went in the studio to make it, we had a different singer. And it's just sounding a little bit too derivative of Whitesnake. So it was decided once the basic tracks were laid down to actually bring Ron Young, who's actually the vocalist on the record, to rewrite melodies, the vocal melodies and lyrics, and it turned into a completely different direction, which we were all very, very happy with. But then again, what happened is this: as soon as that record came out, as soon as that record came out, Adrian and I, we did a tour with Whitesnake, and then Adrian kept touring with David after that. So it never really went beyond the promotional unplugged tour that we did in France.
Okay.
This is 1994.
All right. Let me blow a scaffold.
Let's see. How's everything going with Specter? I know I see you're with them. They make some crazy basses. How's your signature bass?
I have two. I have a Specter signature bass,
mm-hmm.
and then I also have a acoustic signature bass.
Nice.
With a company called Sawtooth.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, you know, I'm always working on improving upon the designs. We're pretty much set with the acoustic bass. That's pretty much, we're all very, very happy with it.
Nice.
And then Chord bought Specter recently, and I've been working with the folks at Chord to do some minor improvements here and there on the instrument. But I'm very, very happy with the way it's turned out, really. You know, one of the things, for example, if you look at me designing the acoustic bass, the company is based out of California. They're about maybe 20 minutes from where I live. So I can actually go and sit down with them and look at the design, go through the latest shipment of instruments and, talk about it. And, so that one, I can be on top of the instrument constantly. Now, when you're talking about, let's say, an instrument like the Specter bass, especially the made in the Czech Republic, you have a situation where you work out any changes that you need to make at NAMM. Are you familiar with NAMM, which is the music conference event that happens twice a year?
Yeah.
But since I live in Los Angeles, I go exclusively so far to the one that is in Anaheim. It's called the Winter NAMM.
Yeah.
And you get together with the builders from the Czech Republic, and they're busy. So you have to make an appointment, and you sit down with them, and you go over details of changes. And so it takes a little bit longer to fine tune the design of your instrument rather than a company that's 20 minutes away from it.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
Yeah.
So I know that you've been spending a lot of time at home like everybody else, but are you working on any like recordings or writing any music or doing any of that?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm sitting in front of the of my computer right now, throwing some things out, things that I want to record, and I've been doing that all along. But now that I find the time, I can really even focus even more on that, and just basically it's defining a musical direction that I want to take the songs that I'm working on.
Right on. Well, what do you else got for him, Jeremiah? Anything else?
My last thing is another thing that's not music related, just because we're all stuck at home. I know we're doing a lot more cooking. Do you have any suggestions for a good Cuban meal to start with?
Oh, I stay away from Cuban food. I grew up with that, so.
Yeah. All right.
I like to eat as healthy as possible. I mean, I love, the cuisine itself, but it's not necessarily the healthiest food.
Good point.
But it's very good, though.
Yeah, but it's not something that I want to eat every single day.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to tell everybody where they can find you online, where they can look Rudy Sarzo up?
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, I have a radio show. It's called 6 Degrees of Sarzo. It's on Monsters of Rock Radio. And that's on every Sunday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that's 4 p.m. will be 7 p.m. East Coast. And it's a 4-hour show. And I do interviews and we play music in between and all that. So that's a lot of fun. So, if you want to tune in, it's ad-free. Subscription-free, Monsters of Rock Radio. And then social media, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram and let's see what else, Twitter. And that's about it.
All right. Make sure we get
and
the
I'm
links
sure with the Guess Who.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll make sure we get all the links up, just like Jeremiah just said. And anything else you'd like to promote while we got you on the air?
Well, I keep getting a lot of questions on social media, so it's not everybody that it's informed, that knows that I have a book called Off the Rails, and I wrote it to clear up all the misunderstandings and conspiracies surrounding Randy's crash and everything else in between. It's basically everything that I experienced with Randy from Quiet Riot in the 70s to him joining Ozzy and him bringing me in to the band, and all the wonderful experiences, and except of course the crash being the tragedy. But yeah, a lot of people might, because there's a lot of fans of Randy Rhoads out there, and they keep asking me questions, and I go, oh my God, from the questions you're asking me, you probably don't know that I have a book. That and you, if you're such a big fan of Randy, that this will be something for you to get into, and now it's a good time to do that.
Yeah, definitely. Where should people get that? Where you actually might see some?
No, it's available at Amazon.com, either print or Kindle version. Perfect. And it's called Off the Rails.
Off the Rails. Got it. I'll make sure we get a link to that up there too.
Yeah, I mean, buy it or borrow it from a friend or go to the library. I think they have it available at the library.
I don't know if our library is open.
That's right.
Anyway, buddy, I tell you what, man, we really appreciate you taking your time to call in and have a chat with us today.
My pleasure, guys. Bob, Jeremiah, thank you so much, gentlemen.
I appreciate it, man.
You take care of yourself, buddy. Be safe.
You too.
Bye-bye. That concludes today's show of the Metal Bob Live podcast. Please see our sponsor links, and thank you for listening. Metal Bob and producer Jeremiah Kalleck, out.